Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to AVX Live. I'm Joe Gilderson, President of Corporate Audiovisual Services, and I am joined again by my co-host, Ryan Finch.
Hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Good, I hope. All right.
It looks like you had a new background, but it seems like the same background still.
The lighting's a little different, you know. I haven't actually gotten to set everything up. This is my first broadcast from a new home, and we're going to really put a lot of faith in the internet provider that I've contracted. So let's, fingers crossed.
All right there. That's preparation and planning in a nutshell. Fingers crossed. We got it. That's baby production right there.
Yes, it is.
So we actually took a week off last week. Not sure if anyone noticed, maybe our 3 followers, but still it was some crazy schedules. That's the reality of the last 4 weeks or so, is that there's actually been a lot of work. And we're going to discuss a little bit the type of work. But we also do have, there's a lot of virtual at the same time, a lot of in-person, and then there's a mixture of the two. I mean, Ryan, you've seen a couple of different types of projects in the past, couple of weeks. What are you seeing that's a little different?
Well, it just feels like everybody's a little messed up. And timelines, I think, have been really, really hectic, where, venues don't necessarily have the kind of flexibility that they once did. So for setup times, we're finding out late that we have less time than we really need to get things set up. And then, of course, there's the hybrid things that kind of pop up here and there that, we've kind of covered in different episodes. But hectic, I think, is probably a good way to summarize it all.
I think hectic is well said. Fortunately, on my side, I've really been more on the in-person events, but many of them have been outside. Not all, certainly not all, but so there's a lot of different things that go on with outdoor events that are a little different too, but we'll have some visuals for you guys a little bit later. So Ryan, before we bring on our very special guest today,
that's right.
We might have a little bit of housekeeping. Is it?
We typically do, and it's right around this time. And
okay.
Of course, this time being Wednesday at 1 p.m., which you can find us on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Every Wednesday, 1 o'clock, except for last Wednesday. Don't, quote us on it, but we're going to be bringing you more guests. So please like, comment, share, subscribe, all the above. Show us a little love, and that helps us keep this thing going. And of course, if you have any questions or any comments, you can leave them on whatever channel that you're watching on, and we'll bring you into the show. And of course, if you have any ideas on new topics for us to cover next Wednesday, let us know.
Wow, that was really good. Plus, you like kept me guessing. I wasn't sure if I was here.
You know what?
If I was here.
I actually wondered that because I think I do it out of order each time, and you're just, you're following along.
I'm trying. I'm just trying to follow your lead. That's all.
Perfect.
Well, anyways, all right. So today we're gonna bring on a new member of our team, and and that we're pretty excited to have him on board. He really just started a few weeks ago. But an industry veteran that many people in the area are going to know. But I think the part that might be interesting is that many people might not know that we have a sister company called Visual Word. And Visual Word is based down in Midtown Manhattan. And our next guest is going to be, he's going to be the face representing, Visual Word out in the streets. So that's why we got to bring him in. So Ryan, if you're ready, I'm ready to bring on the big guy, Ventoliere.
Hello there.
Welcome.
Man, that was good. Where was the other one, the big one? I was looking for the big guy.
The
big guy? You mean this guy?
There you go.
In high definition?
The big guy. That's good quality right there.
It is good quality. That was the highest resolution headshot I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
That's because it is a headshot.
That's right. That was professionally done. Well done.
Well, hey, listen, guys, since you just joined us, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I first started my journey into AV over 20 years ago as a stage carpenter at Staging Techniques. I worked with somebody that's a couple of people that are at corporate AV now. And then from there, I went on to kind of build sets for Broadway shows, and I was worked for IATSE for a while. And then once I got out of AV, I wound up in telecommunications companies, working for various companies. that handled unified communications and virtual technology, like video conferencing, audio conferencing, and web conferencing. And I did that for quite a while, for about 10 years. And I kind of missed the live element. I went from doing things live to doing things virtual and speaking to clients about the cost containment strategies of having a virtual event. You don't have to travel, and you can cut costs, maximize your time. And then I got into the field where there's nothing like a face-to-face. And I started working for a very large AV company. And I worked there for about 10 years until COVID struck. And as so many of us were furloughed. And then I found a home at Corporate AV and Visual Word Systems.
That's very cool.
And you've had quite a varied career, but all centered around connecting people.
Correct.
And, I guess I have a question for you. And
yes.
This comes from my limited understanding of certain ends of communication technology, because I think that category has obviously undergone a lot of changes. So what is telecommunications? Like what did that entail? How is that different than, say, a Zoom meeting or what we're doing right now?
Well, when I was in the industry, it was definitely not consumer based. Mm-hmm. And although there were some, like, while I was there, Zoom was kind of starting up, and GoToMeeting and all of these very consumer-based ways of connecting people. But organizations, and especially the Fortune 100s, Fortune 500s, didn't, they used a more robust system that was, where the backbone was these vast telecommunications companies. And at the time, I remember working for Global Crossing Conferencing, and, out in Colorado there, they had like these massive facilities that were air conditioned with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bridges. And going to the video conferencing center, where it was designed after a NASA kind of launch site, where it was semicircle with all the monitors up, and a whole bunch of Boulder, Colorado students dressed like me, suit on the top and shorts on the bottom, and and flip flops, and basically they just monitor each call, and they can see if the call dropped, they would connect right in, and then of course. When I was with ACT Conferencing, I was associated with one of the largest reservationless conference calls in history. It's in the Guinness Book of World Records. It was something ridiculous. I don't even remember what it was. Like 40,000 people connected. Wow. Into the bridges, and most of the revenue came from that reservationless call type, and then you had the operator assisted call types. But now. There's just so many other vehicles to use to connect. And when I was there, it was always a division within these larger telecommunications companies that were, doing fiber optics and ATM relay and all this web stuff. And I was just in that little small, virtual division. And now it's just all web-based.
Right. So you were doing virtual events before they were cool.
Yes.
Or should I say the only game in town?
Right.
Yeah.
Over the years, I talked about even before COVID hit, I even once I was speaking at an MPI event, and I spoke about the importance of kind of embracing that to the live events audience, and about the importance of doing a hybrid solution, because you're still going to do your live event, but now you connect more people into it that can't attend.
Yeah, evolution, right? It's just, I think people forget that a lot of this technology has been around for a while, but there wasn't as many different ways to do it.
Right.
There was kind of like, there's a few ways, and that's it. And some of them were really expensive, in comparison to the pay $14.95, and right. You can connect with anyone around the world.
Yeah.
But the technology has existed, and these meetings have existed for a long time. So I think that's tremendous experience as far as really both sides of the equation, which is perfect timing for what's happening right now.
Correct.
And our future. I think there's probably a lot of people who are not as familiar with visual word systems, which became part of our family really 3 years ago. and based in Manhattan, Midtown, access to pretty much everything. I mean, Jacob Javits Center is very close by. That crazy beehive over at the Hudson Yards is right down the street. Yeah. Madison Square Garden, Finch, very close.
No, that's my beloved Rangers.
There's a lot of activity right there, and that's really been very beneficial to us, being that we're just outside the city.
Mm-hmm.
There's sometimes some really good points of contact that you just need to address things quickly and close by. And as things have gone on, there's actually very few locations inside Manhattan now. And so that's kind of where the visual word, team comes into play.
Yeah.
I just think there's going to be so many things to do as we start coming out of this mess. And I think Manhattan's just going to, just take off and go right up. So we're looking forward to that. But if anybody is not familiar, then certainly go to our website. You'll see visualword.com, learn a little bit about, what the focus on for Visual Word is. And if you have any questions, I know a guy.
Yeah, there he is.
Guy at visualword.com. Where's that big guy again? Do we have the big guy again?
No, I took him away. Well, wait. I mean, we got this one.
Oh, all right. There you go. Look at that. That's
what a good-looking guy.
That's right.
I know that guy. That's good. This is like the only material I have today. So.
And I'm sure you've never heard these jokes ever in your life.
No, not at all. I'll hear it again in about a half hour.
That's correct. Yes.
Are we doing this again? No. Well, either way, I know that you had some slightly different experiences as the pandemic began, and maybe you could tell us a little bit about that, because I find the courses that you've taken really very interesting.
Sure.
And I think they're coming into play right now as everybody's starting to come back together.
Absolutely.
Now's the time.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was furloughed, and I have a background in the arts, and I got a job helping out an organization teaching some kids some Shakespeare. And one of the prerequisites was to take these 2 courses in COVID awareness training. It was part of like a 10 course certification, but I only needed to take the two first courses because I wanted all of the people teaching the kids to kind of understand what was going on. And this was last summer. And I started taking the class, I realized, maybe I should I got time. I might as well just go ahead and do the rest.
Right.
So I got the certification. It was in COVID awareness. And then after that, I started thinking about, what else I could do. And the ones next on the list were the contact tracing. So I got those certifications. And then, I do a lot of film and stuff like that. And I realized that it might be beneficial to kind of be an asset on the sets when I'm acting. And so I went with Safe Sets International. I got the COVID-19 certificate in film and production. And then I started thinking about all right, well, I'm in AV, and how can I help the organizations that I know? How can I be an asset to the meeting planner? And so I went and I looked into it, and I got the World Health Organization mass gatherings certification, and I got the COVID-19 compliance officer certification. And I felt that it would be good for not only clients to understand that the person that was working on their event, well, even if it was just the sales guy, kind of had an understanding of what they're going through and what was needed on site, and how important it was to kind of understand the safety measures. I also looked at it from another way, which was mitigating liability. I thought that it would be good for an organization if they provided a COVID compliance officer for events. And a lot of these events, by the way, were not necessarily live events. They were also virtual things, but they had to set up a studio in a space. So they wanted that studio to be COVID compliant as well. And I felt like it would mitigate liability. If anybody got sick or something, say, listen, we did our due diligence. We provided a COVID compliance officer. And then I started thinking about it from a sales perspective. And I said, God, wouldn't it be great if, as I'm working with my clients, and I'm working on their proposals and their orders for them, and I'm thinking about their, what they have to go through in their event. If along with that production manager or that, video technician, I could actually provide a COVID compliance officer. Make your audience members feel safe, make your staff feel safe, make the technicians feel safe. And so that's why I did it. And then I got my 10-hour OSHA just in case.
Well, you were busy. You were active, and I think all of those things are now coming into play because of the nature of the venues being open. Right. New York City is certainly, more than a lot of other places, have definitive rules about, who can enter the events in the space and anything indoors, really. And, that's why I think it'll actually start picking up fairly quickly, because there's already a set of guidelines for everyone to follow, and they're now being enforced. Whether you like it or don't like it is really irrelevant, to be honest. And so people are going to need to feel safe and protect, their audience and their staff and their team members. I mean, so I think it's really very interesting in how we're moving forward on things.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's the perception, I think, that that provides the perception of safety, because we've talked a lot about in-person audiences and what kind of crowds are going to draw. I feel like we get a question once a day at least from a new, existing client or prospective client that's trying to plan something. Speaking to that, everything being hectic, right? Is no one really knows what to do, and they're trying to, have contingency plans and whatnot. But they always keep asking the same question, which is like, are people showing up to these things? Right. And that gets back to the whole perception of safety, right? Because again, you can plan an event, but if people don't feel safe being there, then no one's going to show up, and then it's all for nothing. So, good on you. We talked a lot about using this time to better yourself and to learn more, and certainly something we've done a lot of, and so it's something that I think I personally respect is someone using their time to better themselves and to offer more to the marketplace. So, kudos.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Slow clap. There we go.
Slow clap. Yes. So speaking of encores, you had referenced some acting and some extracurricular activities. Mm-hmm. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, my entire career, I've always acted acted at the same time and directed. I taught at a university. I've done well over 100 plays. I've been on Broadway. Recently transitioned to film, and been doing quite a bit of films, especially during COVID. Probably about 21 films, short films. Wow. One made it to Tribeca. Another one made it to the Amsterdam International Film Festival. Won the jury award for the best picture there. Cool. So I've been doing some really cool stuff. But even when I was working in telecommunications, which really there's nothing artistic about that. I directed Gabriel Sidibe from Precious, and I was a first director, and I directed multiple plays with a lot of people that and that are on TV, and I've done a lot of things, especially in theater. I've been interviewed by the Huffington Post for stuff, and I've done a lot.
Hold on, I got to stop you there, because I did read that there was a term, right, or a nickname, and Joe is going to put this on a banner, so help me God. So Joe, okay. Get those fingers ready.
All right, I'm ready.
What was the nickname? What was it?
Theater Whisperer.
Yeah, there it is. The Theater Whisperer. I love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Huffington Post came out with it, and it stuck. If you ask Alexa who I am, they'll say I'm the Theater Whisperer.
Wow.
There it is.
Theater Whisperer.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. That is a good one. I don't have a nickname nearly as good as that.
No, young Ryan Finch isn't that exciting.
No.
I think
forgettable.
They termed it that because not only am I an actor and a director, but I also, as you know, as I mentioned before, I was also a scenic carpenter. Right. I know lighting, I know the AV aspects, but I also did fundraising for it. I'm the managing director of another Shakespeare company. So I've done a lot of, everything but costuming. So that I can't do.
Okay, fair. Well, we'll get somebody for that. But I think it's interesting in terms of the breadth of experience that you have. It seems very well suited for the New York City market. And I think speaking to Joe's point earlier about having someone to be the face for visual word. I mean, what's more New York City than Broadway, right?
Right.
So there you go.
Love it.
Absolutely. That's good stuff. Hey, Guy, am I right in saying that you are a Bronx native?
Yep.
Oh. It's good that we're gonna have this discussion right now.
Yeah.
Why did I have to bring that up, man?
Because right over here.
Bring that up.
I think maybe you were with Sterling there when he was calling the play. I mean, just in case.
Do we have a video clip?
We might have a video clip. Let's see what we got here. I mean, I might have it queued up. I'm not sure. Let's see.
The pitch to Stanton. There it goes. Deep left. It is high. It is far. It is gone out of the ballpark. A Stantonian home run.
Stantonian.
Now, what did I do wrong? What did I see wrong? He's at first base.
Yeah, he's at first base. Yeah, that one didn't go so well for Mr. Sterling there, did it?
I like it all, Joe. I quit.
I mean, I don't see what the problem is. I mean, it was a great game. The right team won. The good guys won. I mean, and I think I know why. I'm going to tell you. Because my brother Rich and his son Jordan were at the game in the monster seats.
Oh.
They might have taken away that Stantonian home run.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not sure. But it's good to know that they were there.
Beautiful.
So.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, you're outnumbered here too, because as a diehard Mets fan, I just want nothing but losses and sadness for the Yankees. So
Yeah.
Wow.
So there you go. I know it's cutting words, but it feels.
That's a little sad. I mean, do you know who you're talking to?
The theater. That's right.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's appropriate. Anyways, all right. So we'll move on. Okay, I got my stuff. I got it out of my system now. I just had to get it out of my system. But maybe we'll talk a little bit about some events here. Funny. We're just talking about the ballpark. We were just at the ballpark last week. We're doing an event for our friends at Montefiore Nyack Hospital, right outside the Palisades Park. And, that was probably one of the bigger crowds. We've had our biggest crowds in the last 2 years in just really the past 10 days or so. In this case, they had about 600 people. They were outside in the park, so they were spacing everything out. They're moving these chairs around here like every 5 minutes to try to, I think, create some area for people to feel comfortable. But everything was outdoors. So all the food, there was no sit-down dinner per se, but all the food was passed, and everyone was really very comfortable and very happy to see each other, which is a whole nother thing, right? Because that's one of the things that I know I'm seeing is that registrations are pretty good. The question is what's going to happen now that we go into colder months. And I think that's the next step. And that's why I thought it was so important for New York City to make a stand and say, here's what we're going to do. And again, whether you like it or don't like it, I don't think is really the point, because there are a lot of people who don't like it. But, it's just so interesting that we have a number of people that will watch our show at different times from around the country in some different places. And I mean, Ryan, where's the event later this month? Is it Utah?
Yes. We're heading out west, Utah.
And what are their ruals?
I have no idea. No, that's not true.
I don't think they really have any rules.
They're much more lax. There's nothing definitive, and that honestly that speaks to, again, the hectic nature of everything is people trying to wait as long as they can to make a decision. Whereas, I mean, in my mind, I think it's better just make a decision and move forward with it, because otherwise you end up in limbo, and we get back to the perception of safety, and now everyone's feeling a little off. At least some sort of decision is something that we can plan around. So I guess it makes sense as far as that's concerned, especially for a city with so many people.
Yeah, it just seems that people are trying to ride the line too much, and it's just causing themselves more heartache and pain, to be honest, because it's much easier to just make a decision and go.
So I guess I have a question to bring us back to to Guy here, being that you will be in New York City, and obviously we have all of these new challenges. I'd say to put a positive spin on it. What is it? What are you excited about? What are you looking forward to doing? As the face of visual word in Manhattan.
Well, I'm really looking forward to getting out to the industry events, talking about visual word, and connecting with new people, but also reconnecting with all those people that I've known in the industry over the past 10 years, 15 years. I really look forward to the day where, we could just have fun, meet, plan, and execute an event without worry.
Same. Remember those days? And yet we were still stressed out?
Yeah.
It's kind of funny how that works. Now we're longing for those days because everything now we talk about, everything is got some sort of weird quirk or issue to it. But, I'm with you. I'm looking forward to, a new frontier as well.
Yeah. Well, some of my favorite things were actually outdoors in the past. And
like what?
Oh, just,
I put you on the spot.
Event I did at Yankee Stadium.
Oh, Yankee Stadium.
With a Bronx Borough president.
Well, that's okay, Guy, because Joe actually shared a video, and he's going to get a call from the Steinbrenner family saying that he wasn't allowed to do that. So,
yes,
who really wins here?
I'm all right. I just text them.
And they probably took your call because...
That's right. Theater Whisperer. There
you
go.
Right.
And actually, I breezed past this earlier, but one Marissa Madonia, I always wanted that nickname. We're going to have to come up with something different for you, Marissa.
Wow. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's the nickname.
Yes.
That's really the key. No, but I think that's it. Everybody's just trying to figure it out. And but most of the crowds I've seen so far are very excited to be together.
Yeah.
And, they're just happy to feel that sense of contact and community again. And I know we're seeing it from all of our technical staff, and just everybody is so happy to see each other and work and be working again, and get that energy back, because it is just an in-person event has just totally different energy.
Right.
And that's what's missing.
It's true.
It's that part. It's not the communication tools. The communication tools work great as far as, presentations and webinars and communicating facts. All the virtual tools work incredibly well. And of course, expanding the audience, all the things that we've been talking about for a long time now, episode 31, I believe, right now.
That's correct. Yeah.
But you still can't replace the energy. Just think of a concert or a game. I actually went to the Patriots and Jets a couple of weeks ago, and there's 60,000 people in a stadium outdoors. And the energy is totally different than sitting on my couch watching it. So that's what people are looking to get back again. So I'm excited that we're moving forward.
Yeah, me too. I had a conversation with somebody this morning about an event that we're going to be working on. And when I asked them if there was going to be a Zoom element to it or anything virtual, they were like, nope. And I honestly felt great about it.
That's a decision.
Yeah.
That's a decision. I've been joking around that we keep getting asked, how late can I make your life miserable? Like that ends up being it. Like, how late can I possibly wait before I ask you to go, above and beyond? Which, again, we're always happy to go above and beyond for our clients. But when it's everybody doing the exact same thing at the same time and a lot of indecision, that just obviously makes it very difficult. So I can get behind no Zoom. We're deciding we're in person and, take it or leave it. So I'm with that.
Well, not every event is designed for that, right?
Right.
That's just a reality. And that's all of our jobs, to try to help guide people and help them make their decisions, so it is part of it. But even just in a conversation yesterday, as they were exploring the option of hybrid, I could only think to myself, I don't think this should be hybrid.
Yeah.
just the way they were describing what their goals were and who were the most important people. I don't know. I don't know if you need the streaming element. That was just my personal thoughts, but they'll make their decisions, and we'll be there to support them, whatever direction. But yeah, more time is probably helpful though. It feels like we're running till the bell at the end on a lot of these right this second. So, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
So, Guy, out of sound, video, lights, carpentry, staging, what do you like best?
Telecommunications.
I noticed you didn't say acting.
No, I didn't include that. I mean, I thought you were acting right now.
I love scenic. I love building sets. I love rolling up my sleeves, getting the plans, seeing what I need to do, and making stuff out of just sheets of wood. I love that. I still do it too. I mean, I'm involved with so many theater groups that I always wind up having to participate. I was working with this one group where I was Richard III, and the scenic designer quit. So I wound up designing and building the set at the same time. And if you know anything about Richard III, it's quite the extensive part.
Don't, but it sounds like, so now you have to have a lot of like, what's the word? Things that you've taken from after striking a set. Yeah, you take like a letter from the
Yeah.
I'm thinking more along the corporate lines. But do you have little memorabilia from each of the sets you've built?
In the beginning, at the end, it's just
you run out of room.
I've done it. Yeah, I got a picture. Now.
Been there.
Yeah.
So, would you like film better than the theater, or are they just different?
They're totally different. I stayed away from film for years. I didn't even bother. I did do a sitcom for Disney a long time ago. When I got back, I was living in Korea for a year, and I got back, and I wound up doing this Disney sitcom, and it was great, and I had fun. But then I just did theater after that forever. And then somebody asked me if I wanted to do it, and about 3 years ago, to a project for them, and when I said yes, I realized I've been missing out. So a lot less time consuming, and a lot less. I just had to act. I don't.
Right. Well, I guess it's funny because there's a little bit of a parallel there with what we're dealing with a lot more frequently, and that is whether to do it live or whether to do it pre-recorded.
Right. Yeah.
Right. We get the CEO that's, he's not very good on camera. We're going to need a lot of takes for this, or we get somebody who's just like, yeah, they're really good live and we don't have a lot of pre-production time. So we're just going to, do it. Now, maybe that's an oversimplification, but is that more or less? Do you prefer theater just because it's live and there's the energy of that?
I do prefer theater because of the live aspect to it. And also you're on the spot. You can't cut, and you got to do it, right?
Yeah.
And also you do form this bond and camaraderie with the people because you're rehearsing it for every evening, and weekends you're rehearsing it, and then you're performing for 2 or 3 weeks or a month. So you're with these people. Whereas film, it's just very, I'm in, I got the script, I'll go in, act it out, and I forget them and they forget me.
It's a little more transactional, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
All right. But I have that, I know you guys have seen films of plays, and it looks horrible because it's meant to be live, right?
Right. You lose something in the translation.
Yeah. So I both have their benefits, but both have truly helped me understand a client's needs when they're talking about events. It's helped me from a sales perspective. It's helped me from, concentration and focus and developing listening skills and being able to kind of put together the various pieces. And also I feel like I can contribute in a more artistic sense sometimes when needed, being that I did design sets and I designed lighting and I've done stuff like that were meant to provoke feeling and not necessarily just to light a podium.
Yeah.
Like you use red up lights if you have a young sales audience, right?
Yeah.
Keep them awake.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Well, hey, Guy, you mentioned that you had a connection with corporate AV. from a past life. And one of them, I think, wanted to remind you of something. And I'll be honest, I have no idea what it means. So I'm just going to put it on screen there. Do you know that guy?
Yeah, that's Will Austin. He was my first boss in AV.
Oh my!
And I'll tell you his story. Well, what happened was I had a guy that I was just doing summer stock, and there was a guy that worked at a college, and I got back, I didn't have a job, and he goes, I know this guy Will Austin at Staging Techniques, and maybe they need an extra hand doing carpentry. I'm like, great. And so I went down, and I wound up staying. But Will had to be on to me, because I remember there was one day where Will said to me, he goes, can you go over and grab me the level or the square? I don't remember which one it was. But all I know is at the time I didn't know what it was. So I went over and I grabbed like a bunch of tools and just laid them in front of him. Because I was not a carpenter then. That was my first week on the job.
Oh,
so, but I learned well.
That's funny. Go get me the XLR cable.
What?
Go get me the XLR cable.
Yeah.
That's not it. That's not it. I brought you 5 of everything. Here you go.
And I think his saw guard comment is because I was a little precarious in the shop.
Precarious.
Yes, I was.
Wow. Well, you've come a long way now that you're a compliance officer. So
yes.
Safety and OSHA and all that.
Right, and I'm a theater whisperer.
That's true. There you go.
That's what I heard on the streets. The streets of Midtown Manhattan, where Visual Word is located.
Oh, that was a great full circle moment. You did it. We did it live.
Bingo, bango. Bob's your uncle. We nailed it. No, well, look, we're not going to tie you up too much today, Guy, but we wanted to make sure that everybody knew who you were and could connect with you. And certainly if anybody has anything coming up that they want to talk to Guy about, whether it's in the theater or it's maybe about a certain team that's going to be playing in Tampa Bay. I mean, whatever you want to talk about, Guy at visualword.com. Give him a shout. Give him a call at 212-629-8383. Look at that. You didn't know I knew the number.
That's
what are you, Jim Marlowe or something?
No, Jim knows all the hard numbers. I only know like one number. So, but either way, I think this was great. It was really great having you on the show. And, everybody's going to be seeing and talking to you a lot more in the future.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. And thank you, Jeff.
Okay. Well, Mr. Ryan, I think we're going to wrap up our show here.
I have one comment to make.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, you've made an egregious error.
What did I do wrong?
Yeah, well, we'll let Marissa tell you. Real thespians spell it theater. I don't know if you have to pronounce it that way. Hopefully she'll correct me, but I just, you blew it.
I think we all know I am not a real thespian, so... I mean,
could not be more true.
What are you going to say? I mean, I am not the theater whisperer. I mean, that's Guy's territory.
That's right.
It's just not my.
We got a guy for that. That's the last one, I promise. That's the last one.
Wow.
I see he's still on there. He's laughing. All right. He doesn't hate me yet.
Was it this guy?
All right. That's enough. We're off the rails.
All right. I'm sorry. Very good.
I'm gonna do my thing here. I'm going to do my thing. Every Wednesday, 1 p.m., be there. YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. We're doing it live. As Guy said, there is an energy to doing it live. You never know what's going to happen. We might rip off the Steinbrenners. Who knows? In any case, we're going to bring it to you every week, new guests and more topics and conversations. So if you have anything that you'd like us to cover, any questions, please drop us a comment, be part of the show. And otherwise, we'd appreciate some love. Like, comment, share, subscribe. There it is. Waiting for the third one. I went out of order. I got to keep you on your toes.
It's okay. I'm ready for you.
There you go. Well, I'm done. I finished my part. So
okay.
I guess that's it.
Then that's it. Well, thank you, everyone. We look forward to seeing you next week. And please don't forget to reach out to Guy Ventoliere. All right, everyone. Have a good week.